You've got to be like a really interesting person that completely divides the planet. And I'm sorry to say, that's not Mark Carney. He's not. He's just not interesting enough.
Here's your favorite, Francois Philippe Champagne, when he's asked about the New World Order there. Carney starting to look like he's all alone in here, as even Keir Starmer's backed away from those comments.
Keir Starmer has rejected Carney's Davos speech. What is your reaction to that?
I would say the Prime Minister said out loud what a lot of people thought privately, and well, I can't speak for him, but I would say the vision that he presented is one that resonated, and I can tell you, Canada is really a country where people look up now for investments, for our values resonate, and certainly we're happy to work with all our partners.
Mr. Champagne, vous avez Keir Starmer.
Did he take that poll again? Did he ask himself? Is that where he got that information from again? When Francois Philippe Champagne, he says he talked to people, and he talked to himself again. That's also now Christine Lagarde that has walked it back and said that she didn't agree with what he said. That's the European Union bank.
Because they don't want to antagonize China or the US, obviously, which is what that speech did. But I also just have to say, I've got to say it again. I got to say it as loudly, I suppose, and as often as I can. That speech is being wildly overpraised in this country. Anyway, I mean, there's some quite sensible appraisals of it happening elsewhere, in Britain, in Europe, in the United States, but not in this country. Every single person that opens their mouth about this, anybody in a position of authority in the media, in politics, whatever, says that it was this marvelous, eloquent speech that was so serious. It was a real hardcore intellectual speech. It was a mess. And that's probably why one of the reasons that Keir Starmer and the British government aren't going along with it, because it wasn't coherent. It didn't express anything. It didn't say anything about the world. It just said the US world order doesn't work anymore. We don't have to pretend it does work. And instead, middle powers, which Canada is not, should all join together, and somehow there'll be rainbows and things will make sense. That's not really coherent. And his actions aren't coherent either. What he's doing, like going to China, as he did, like, what was it, a week before that? Or he went to China after, actually, didn't he? Oh, I can't remember.
After,
no, it was before. He just got back from Beijing. That was it. Like, his actions are not consistent with what he was trying to get across there in this worldview. And none of it really makes sense. And I would also say the British probably don't like the idea that they're a middle power. Usually, Britain is categorized as a great power, believe it or not. Very hard to imagine how that can be sustained. But I suppose they do have a navy and they do have nuclear weapons, which is usually sort of great power things. But I mean, the British probably balk at that a bit, this idea that like Britain and Canada are equivalents.
Yeah, I would have to say for sure. The UK is a legit middle power, and they typically go hand in hand with the Americans when they do military actions in the world, and they've done that over and over again. And they have stuff to contribute when there is operations. I mean, they contributed in the last one in Iran and stuff like that. And they have an aircraft carrier, and they have an actual military, where Canada has elected its military forever. So I would agree with you that when he lumps himself in with the UK, and even France for that matter, Canada is lacking in the middle power. If it's in the middle power, it'll be at the bottom of the rung in this middle power Lord of the Rings thing. But nobody wants to play along because, like I said, the Americans and the English have been supporting each other in military operations for a long, long time.
But it's also like foreign affairs. There are no principles in foreign affairs, really. It's all self-interest at the end of the day. Even at the height of like post-Cold War loony bin foreign affairs, it was still basically self-interest. And the British aren't gonna get into bed with Mark Carney and the Liberals and Canada at the expense of their relationship with either China or the United States, because to do so would be against the interests of the British people.